All right, let's dive into something that's, well, it's a bit of a minefield. Low-level laser therapy for hair loss. It's a world filled with some pretty confusing claims and these high-tech, expensive devices. But what if the secret to actually making it work has nothing to do with what the marketers are trying to sell you? Let's find out.
So this is the big question, isn't it? You see all these ads, and the thinking is pretty simple. If a little bit of laser is good, then a ton of laser has to be amazing. It kind of makes sense on the surface, but the expert source material we're looking at today says that line of thinking is just completely wrong.
Okay, let's just pause on this for a second, because this statement is fascinating. It's from William Gonitz, who's a trichologist, that's a specialist in hair and scalp health, with over 2 decades of experience. He's not just saying you might not need more power. His advice is to never use a device with more than 80 laser diodes. So, what on earth is the logic behind such a strong, counterintuitive rule?
And that brings us right to our first key idea, the 80-diode rule. This isn't just some casual tip. It's presented as a hard and fast principle for anyone who's even thinking about at-home laser therapy.
The number is 80. Yeah, 80. It's not around 80 or, hey, at least 80. The expert is super specific about this. 80 is the absolute maximum you should be looking for in an effective at-home treatment. So, what makes 80 the magic number?
And here's the kicker. The reason is actually pretty simple. According to Gonitz, the clinical science just isn't there to back up those super-powered devices you see advertised everywhere. The studies that actually proved this therapy works, they were all done on devices with 80 diodes, or fewer. So the moment you go above that number, you're basically stepping into uncharted territory with no real clinical proof that it works any better.
Okay, this leads us to another huge misunderstanding about laser therapy. We've talked about the how much, but now we got to talk about the what. Like, what is this therapy actually designed to do?
So many people buy these devices thinking they work like some kind of force field, that they'll just stop hair loss dead in its tracks. But the expert view is completely different. It's not a shield. Think of it more like a physical therapist for the hair you already have. It's a rehabilitation tool. The key phrase to remember here is growth stimulant. Let's just say that one more time. A growth stimulant. Its entire job is to stimulate the hair that's already there to become thicker and fuller. But, and this is so critical, it does not stop the underlying reason you're losing hair in the first place. Okay, so we know to use 80 diodes, and we know its job is to be a growth stimulant. So how exactly should you use it? Let's get into the expert-specific protocol and see how this all turns into a simple, actionable plan.
And you know what? It's beautifully simple. The clinically supported protocol is this: an 80-diode device, used twice a week for 20 minutes each time. That's it. No more, no less. You have to think of it like a precise dosage, not just something you do whenever you feel like it.
And the expert really doesn't mince words here. Using devices with more power or for longer sessions or more often, he calls it absolutely absurd. That kind of strong language really tells you everything you need to know about the importance of sticking to the protocol that's actually been proven to work.
Now, we're getting to what might be the single most important piece of advice in this whole explainer. Seriously, before you even think about clicking buy on a laser device, there is a critical first step you have to take. And it's this: before you try to stimulate growth, you must first stabilize the loss. This means you have to figure out why you're losing hair in the first place, and then address that root cause directly. It's like trying to bail out a boat with a hole in it. You've got to plug the hole before you start bailing out the water.
This shows the proper order of operations perfectly. It's only after you've stopped the leak, after you've stabilized the loss, that you bring in the laser. Its job is secondary. It's the rehabilitation tool you use once the bigger underlying problem is under control.
So let's bring this all together now. We have the 80-diode rule, we have the idea of a growth stimulant, and we have the proper sequence of treatment. What does this all mean when it comes to creating a plan that actually works?
So, here's the playbook, laid out nice and simple. First, and most importantly, find and stabilize the cause of your hair loss. Second, always remember that laser therapy is a growth stimulant, not a preventative shield. Third, stick to that simple protocol: 80 diodes, twice a week for 20 minutes. And finally, never, ever forget that more power does not mean better results. And so we end with the one question that gets right to the heart of all this. Using a laser without first stabilizing your hair loss is just treating a symptom, but understanding why you're losing hair and addressing it directly, that's treating the cause.
And according to the expert, that is the only path to real lasting results.